What's up YouTube, welcome back to another video. Today I've got a Q&A for you. This has been long overdue. I've had so many questions on my recent videos, so let's get into it. The first question is from CF11 saying, as your cabin crew, can you pick what food you can have, like one from first class, or if you feel like it, the BA equivalent of economy, which I think is World Traveller. It's actually World Traveller. Yeah, so after the service is finished, whatever cabin you're in, you can eat that food. So if you're in first, you can eat first food. Business, you can eat business food. Traveller, you can eat the traveller food. But generally, people in business will offer the food to the people in traveller because it's a bit nicer. And yeah, that's how you eat essentially. A lot of people bring their own food on the plane, which is fine and probably a lot healthier. But yeah, generally, you know, on a long 12-hour flight, you are going to have to eat some of the plane food, so you can eat whatever is in your cabin. The next question is from Ethan Elkins, and he's saying, and do you ever do any passenger announcements, or is that just the cabin manager? Yeah, the cabin crew do the majority of the cabin announcements. It will be someone's responsibility. So there is 11 crew on the plane, there will be 11 positions, and one of those positions will be assigned the onboard announcements, and they will do like the boarding, they will do the ready to go, they'll do the 40 minutes to landing, they'll do 20 minutes to landing, and they'll do the post landing. And then the senior cabin crew member, they will always do a senior cabin crew member welcome where they introduce themselves and they say some other stuff. So yeah, it isn't the cabin manager who does most of them, it is actually the crew. Maro PvP is saying, do you have to have an EU or UK residency to work for BA, or can you be from the US, Canada and Asia? Yeah, you can be from absolutely anywhere in the world, you just need a UK visa to work in the UK. William Wilburn is saying, how many countries have you been in? I don't actually know, let me just have a look. I've been to 45 destinations. I'm not sure how many countries that is, probably about 30 countries, because there's a lot of UK destinations and there's a lot of American destinations and there's a lot of German destinations. So yeah, 45 destinations, probably about 30-ish countries. Corey Schultz is saying, how does it work when you call in sick? Does this ever affect your flight if someone calls in sick, or is there always enough crew? So we have standby, you have home standby, where you have to be at the airport within at least 2 hours of being called. Sometimes it might be nice, they'll say, can you get here in 5 hours, but they could say 2. And then you have airport standby, and you'll be at the airport, you'll get a phone call, and you have to be at the desk within like 5 minutes. So yeah, if someone doesn't turn up for the flight, or they call in sick really late, they'll call someone off airport standby. I think if someone calls in sick on the morning and they've got an evening flight, they might as well just call someone on home standby and get them to come in the evening. So yeah, there's always enough crew for the flights. Ben Thomas, similar question, saying when a flight is cancelled, what does the crew do? Yeah, I think it would probably depend on what flight it was and how far in advance or how long into the flight it was cancelled. So I know there's been an example where the Johannesburg, which takes off I think at 7:20, was cancelled, but it was cancelled in advance. So the crew got to the airport and then they put them up in a hotel next to the airport, and then they reported like the next morning or afternoon, and they took off then. So if they know it's going to be cancelled, I think they can keep the crew. But I've been on a flight where it's been sat on the ground for like 3 or 4 hours in London, and then we finally did take off. But at that point, if we did get cancelled, we'd have to go home because we'd be out of hours to then hang around and then get on another flight and then take off. I think if it was like a short haul flight and that got cancelled, they might just put you on standby because you could get used for another short haul flight that day. So it really depends what kind of flight it is, how far in advance it's cancelled. So yeah. Mark Simons has asked a lot of questions. The first one is, what's the most hours that the flight crew can work in one day? I'm asking this because I believe a flight has been disrupted for medical emergency, for instance, and the flight may have to be delayed overnight because the crew has run out of hours. The most hours you can work depends on how much rest you get. I think you can do like 13 hours from reporting to when you pull onto stand at the destination without a break, although that would never happen. You do always get a break on a long haul flight pretty much, but I think, I was looking at this earlier, I think if you went like an 18-hour duty, you'd have to have a 3.5 hour break. So yeah, the longer the break you have, the longer the duty you can do. But yeah, crew do go out of hours. As crew get more experience, would BA ever wish for them to fly on additional aircraft types that eventually they'll be qualified to fly on any aircraft, or are all the crew specialised in 3-4 aircraft types as you are? Yeah, so as soon as you join, you're on the Baby Bus A319 2021, you're on the 777 and the 74, or the 380, and then after you've been online for like 6 months to a year, they pull you back in to do 787 training. Not sure why they don't just train people on the 787 from the get-go now on, but that's just how it works at the moment. Following on from that, are you trained on all versions of the aircraft, i.e. the 777-200 and the 777-300, the 78-8, 78-9? Yes, if you've got a license for the 200, you've got a license for the 300. Same for -8, -9, and I think if the -10 got introduced, which it will be soon for VA, I'm not sure whether you would need to go back in for additional training. I think you probably would need a little conversion for the -10. Because, for example, the 200 and the 300, one's got 4 doors, one's got 5 doors. So you have to know the differences. Are crew able to apply for change fleets? Your mixed fleet, could you apply to a worldwide Euro fleet, for instance? You could fly to different places. I've had a lot of questions from people asking what the difference is between the different fleets and if you can change, which one's the best one to work for. So the fleets, ages ago, there was worldwide fleet, they do long haul, Euro fleet, they do short haul. And then I think 7 years ago they introduced mixed fleet, which it means that anyone who now applies to British Airways, you become mixed fleet. You can't become worldwide, you can't become Euro fleet, and I don't think worldwide or Euro fleet could ever swap between one or the other. They're kind of like fixed as they are. Yeah, I think the contract was brought in for mixed fleet to try and save money because they're on a lot of money, and yeah, they just wanted to kind of start again, I guess. So yeah, you can't switch. Last one, you've mentioned before that you like Vancouver. Are there any routes that you're not so keen on? Any places you don't want to fly to again, or that you've been so often you're done with that place? I think generally, if there was a new route that I'd never been to before, I'd always be excited to go there. If you do a lot of the same route quite consistently, like I did 4 San Jose's in a row once, you just get tired of being in the same place. You just want to switch it up. I've mentioned before, a lot of people don't like going to Houston. Nothing against Houston, especially for what's going on recently. I think it's just to do with the hotel location and not much to do around our hotel. I think that's the thing, like for us as crew, a lot of like whether we like the destination is to do with where the hotel is. So I might have a different perception of a destination than you do if you go there on holiday. So yeah, you can't always take our advice on whether a destination is good or not. Other than that, no, there was never really anywhere I wouldn't want to go to. There's places like Tel Aviv, for example, we don't get that long in Tel Aviv, although it's kind of a long haul flight, we only get like 12 hours there. So yeah, but then that's not to do with Tel Aviv, it's just to do with the time we get there. So it does depend on how long you get there, where the hotel is. That kind of influences whether you like a destination or not. Oscar Fleming is saying, do you always stay at the same hotel at every destination, or do you go to different ones each time? It's a good question. Yeah, we stay at the same hotel at the destination, so every time I go to Atlanta, you'll always be in the same hotel. But then again, every now and again, they do change the hotels. Like for Atlanta, they did actually recently change the hotel. And also, if there's big events, like when the Super Bowl was on in Houston this year, they moved us out of our hotel into a different one. Maybe just because they wanted us to be in a quieter hotel, because they knew that it was going to be busy at that one. Yeah, they do change it every now and again. Like if there's construction at a hotel, they'll probably move you out because they don't want there to be loads of noise. They want you to be able to rest at the hotel, so they are pretty good at that. And every now and again, contracts just change. Like at Houston, we used to stay out towards the Gallery Mall, and then now we stay downtown. So yeah. Okay, I've had a lot of questions about whether BA pay for the hotel and food or travel. So the hotel is always paid for by BA, and the transport to the hotel is a coach. Like we literally get off the plane, go to security, get on the bus, go to the hotel. It's all paid for, there's nothing to worry about. And then food, you have to buy the food yourself. I've had a few questions about visas, whether you need a visa for every country you fly to. The only visa you need is a USA visa, but BA do pay for that. So before you join, one of your jobs will be to go to the US Embassy down in London and get your US visa. It's very good, you get a crew visa and a tourist visa. So even though I've left, I've still got a 10-year tourist visa, thanks BA. And that's the only place you need a visa for. Most places you don't actually need your passport to get into, like they're pretty relaxed and you can just show your crew ID, but you don't need a visa for anywhere else. I've had a few questions about are you able to bid for trips and what is the likelihood of getting your requests, does seniority play a part in this? So there is a bidding system, although it's not very good. Like just before I was leaving, or about 4 or 5 months before I was leaving, I started bidding for Singapore, Sydney, because I never really wanted to do it while I was at BA, because I didn't want to be away from Mieke for 9 days. But then as I knew I was leaving, I was like, I really want to go to Australia and Singapore, this is a great opportunity. So I started bidding for it, I didn't get it. So yeah, the bidding system isn't great, but there is bidding, and seniority doesn't play any part in it at all. In fact, for mixed fleets, seniority doesn't play a part in anything. I know on the other fleets, I think the position they work on the aircraft is determined by seniority, like most senior person gets to choose which position they want to work on, but at mixed fleet it's just kind of like a free-for-all. You get to the briefing room, sometimes the CSM has already assigned positions, sometimes they might just go around the room and say who wants to work in first, who wants to work in business. There are now people who are only trained in Traveller, so they have to work in Traveller, obviously. But yeah, seniority doesn't play a part in anything except for staff travel. If you're travelling on staff travel and there was only like 3 seats left on the plane and there was 10 people on standby, it would be the order of the priority. So like if you've got a business priority, you'd be ahead of people on an economy priority, and then it would go on seniority. I had a few questions about flight crew. Do you ever get to speak to the flight crew? Do pilots go out with you, or is it just the cabin crew? When you go for drinks and dinner with the crew, does that always include the pilots? Yeah, so like you do get to see the flight crew. Like with the positions that I was talking about, it is someone's job to look after the flight crew. Generally it's someone in first, because first will be next to the flight deck, so it's just natural that someone from first would look after them. So you have to call them every half hour to make sure that they're still alive, they're still there, and they call you every half an hour as well. And then you have to take them cups of tea if they want cups of tea, or you take them their meals, you let them know what their food is, because they've got a flight crew cart with all their food, so you write down the options, give it to them, they can decide, tell you when they want it, so you cook it for them, take it into them. You can just go in anytime during the flight if you want to have a little chat, if you want to have a look around, if you want to see the view. So yeah, you can go and hang out with them. They're all very nice, you know, they're just part of the team really. It's not like it's them and us, we're all together. And then yeah, they jump on the same transport as us, they usually stay in the same hotel. Some places they have different hotels, and yeah, if you're at the same hotel then you make arrangements with them. Like if they've got a good idea, usually they've got a better idea of what to do in their destinations, because flight crew are only trained on one aircraft, so they're always going to the destinations served by that aircraft. But as cabin crew, we're trained on lots of different aircraft, so we go to a lot more destinations than they do. So they might go to the same destination like every couple of months, we might go once a year. So yeah, generally they have a better idea of what to do in certain destinations, so we'll tag along with them whatever they're doing. And then finally, I have had a lot of questions asking why are you leaving British Airways, what are you going to do next? I think this all comes down to why I got into the job in the first place. As you know, I went to university, I did accounting at university, went to Oxford Brookes, studied it for 4 years, and at the end of that 4 years I didn't really want to go into an office job. I didn't want to be studying, I didn't want to be learning even more, I just wanted a bit of a break. And at the time my sister was crew for British Airways, and she said, you know, if you want a bit of a break, why don't you just join as crew, you can see the world and then you can go back into accounting. So that's what I did essentially. I didn't know how long I was going to stay for. I thought I'd stay for like a year or two, which is ended up how it's going to be. So about a year into flying, I think, maybe a bit under a year, I started looking at other jobs. I started missing Mieke, and yeah, I just wanted to be at home, and I was starting to not enjoy the job as much. But as soon as I did get the job, I enjoyed being crew again, because I knew there was an end to it. I knew I had something in place, I could relax. So getting the job actually made me enjoy being crew again a lot more towards the end. And yeah, if you watch my Christmas decoration vlog, like from the end of last year, I was actually doing a time lapse as I got the phone call to get the job. Got the job. So yeah, I got this job in December. So it's been a long time coming. It is a graduate role, that's hence why it starts in September, because it's designed for graduates. You finish university, you go into it in September. So yeah, I've had this job coming for a long time, and it is an accounting role. It's a big company, and yeah, it's a dream job really. I mean, it's going to set me up for life essentially, and it's something that I've always wanted to do. When I went to university, I wanted to go into accounting, and I just didn't want to go into it straight away. So I came to BA to see the world, to travel the world, take Mieke along with me, which I've done. I've had so much fun. It's been an amazing 2 years, but yeah, I'm now ready to go into accounting. I'm gonna have to do loads of exams to get chartered and all that. The hard work starts now. This has been an easy life. It's now gonna be very, very hard, but that's what I'm prepared for. Yeah, I've had the best time at British Airways. I've got nothing bad to say about the company. I've had an amazing time. I've really enjoyed the last 2 years, but it is now time for me to move on. There we go, that is the end of the Q&A. I think this might be my last cabin crew video. If you've got any more questions, leave them down below, and of course I will answer them for you, but I don't think I'll do another cabin crew video unless you all want me to do one more Q&A. Maybe I'll think about doing that. But yeah, from here on it's going to be vlogs of me and Mieke, what we get up to, everything we get up to as a little family with Peaches. And if you've got any video ideas, let me know and I'll try my best to do them. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for plenty more videos to come. Bye bye.